Hello, I'm Dan Brunton. Welcome to the Connection podcast series. Today, we are sitting with Pawel Rogalka, who is the CEO of DigitPack. Now, Pawel is well known in the Polish industry as well as the European industry, having been very active within the FEFCO technical committees, and is no stranger to the industry, having worked at TFP and also heading up VPK Group's Aquila sheep feeding division, and then the setup of the VPK packaging operation in Poland. So we're going to be talking a little bit about what's been going on in the Polish economy, the Polish corrugated industry, and then hearing a little bit from Pawel about the development of DigitPack. So Pawel, welcome. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. It's been obviously a very interesting 6 or 7 months for the global corrugated industry. Economies have been battered. Maybe we could start today's session with a little bit, just a bit of an update on Poland and what's been happening in the Polish economy, and maybe some oversight into what's been happening in the Polish corrugated industry as industry at large has tried to weather the storm. So tell us a little bit about what's happening in the Polish economy, Pawel.
Hi Dan, thank you for this invitation, and thank you for giving me a chance and sharing what I know and what the feeling is inside here in Poland. The economy. I would say when I read the news, when I'm following the media, I have the impression that Polish economy, in the light of the European economy, is not doing really bad. We are quite okay. Of course, no one knows what is going to be the effect of the restrictions applied in the fourth quarter of this year, because the threats are there. But if we are talking about the first 3 quarters of the year, Polish economy was not really affected so much by the epidemic. So I would say not so bad in the light of the European general outlook and the European picture. So I would say, comparing to our colleagues from other countries, other European countries, we are not so bad. We were not really affected so much. The economy was not really so strongly hit as such. What is the surprise to me, because general statement is that the 3 quarters were not so bad, but they were not very good neither. But what surprises me is that the corrugated business is really doing quite well. I mean, we felt the decrease and shrinking of the market after the first lockdown. So after, I'm talking about April, May, we felt really that the market is getting weaker. But the summer, the opening of the economy, it accelerated the growth of the corrugated business, and so far so good. I mean, watching hearing about the figures of my colleagues' business activity in corrugated for October, Jesus Christ, such a huge demand, lack of paper, a lot of orders coming in, etc. I don't know what's going to be November, but so far so good. I mean, corrugated business in Poland was not really affected dramatically with this pandemic crisis.
And Pawel, we've noticed, our research is showing us, and all the conversations we're having with industry leaders around not just Europe but in the world, that it's become very clear that if you are a producer of corrugated packaging for the food and drinks and pharmaceuticals and e-commerce, that obviously business has remained very strong, and in some cases people are running at 120% and they don't know which way to turn. But obviously if you're in luxury packaging, it's probably a bit of a different story. Is that representative of Poland as well? So the producers in sort of packaging for food and drink have all been fine, and e-commerce?
Yes, that's true. Polish economy stands stands strongly on manufacturing. So we have a lot of production, not only on of food and beverages, but we are also the big producer of household equipment, etc. So it all consumes corrugated, and e-commerce that accelerated dramatically or spectacularly this year in Poland is supporting corrugated business as well. So there are very, very few businesses that are really hit in negative way by epidemia, and that corrugated doesn't really have has good performers over there. So generally speaking, we can't see any serious problems of any company that is active in corrugated in Poland.
Now, Pawel, you've obviously had quite a long career in the corrugated packaging industry. I think when you and I first met, maybe 20 years ago, you were working within a business that was owned within your family. You then decided to move into helping VPK develop their sheet feeding within Poland, and you've now jumped back over to the other side of the fence again. And in the last 6 months or so, you've gone out and you have now set up your own business again, specifically looking at sort of digital printing and digital supplies for sheet plants within Poland. Tell us a little bit about why you did that. What was the sort of primary driver for the establishment of DigitPack?
Yeah. Okay. So yes, you are right. I had two jobs in the past. My first job was TFP. I was working over there for over 12 years, and the reason I left was the same reason why I left VPK afterwards. So I always wanted to be independent. Leaving TFP, I joined VPK Group as a minority shareholder of the business I established for VPK in Poland. And then 15 years for VPK doing the project. The reason I left was always was the same as as at the first time. I mean, my desire to be completely independent. So after 28 years, I decided to start DigitPack as a small specialized business, trying to find my own place in a niche market. That I see digital printing as a service. So the motivation is always the same. I want independency. And at this moment, I have 100% of independence. So this is really, this point is done. But I have to build the business. And I decided to start a very new business model because this is something that you cannot find in Poland, digital printing directly on corrugated board as a service. We are a printing house only, and we believe we can find our place in the market because I truly believe digital printing as the technology is coming strongly and fast into our business. So I want to be one of the first, and I want to offer, we are offering services of printing in digital to the open market. Of course, my main interest and my biggest hope lies in the field of sheet plants because they are missing capital for new technologies. Big groups or big companies, rich companies, they can afford their own printers. But I believe the volume of packaging printed in digital will increase in Poland, and I want to support for that part of the business sheet plants. So this is our business model in a nutshell.
And Pawel, you were talking there about very specifically working with the sheet plants because obviously it's a digital printing trade service. Looking at what's happened in terms of the development of e-commerce, particularly over the last 6 months, where a lot of brand owners are starting to look at, and retailers are looking at ways in which they can engage with their consumers, their customers, and obviously it's all about the the unboxing experience. They want to make sure that the branding is correct when the products arrive. What work are you able to do with your sheet plant customers to help engage? Because often, the sheet plant guys are not really, so engaged with the brand owners. So how do you help educate those brand owners about the power of digital printing?
Well, I can't be alone. So it's not only our company that is taking action in this education process. Definitely, it's a time-consuming process. So it will last. What we've learned for the last couple of months with our activity, limited in a way because of the crisis, etc. People do not want to interact. They don't want to visit you. They don't want you to visit them. So this is our main problem, to explain the benefits of the new way of doing things like digital printing on corrugated board. So you need to interact, you need to meet people, you need to explain them, etc. Video chats like what we do right now is not really the best way to convince people to something what is new for them. That's the first point. Second, because the market corrugated business is really hot at the moment, they say, yes, we are coming. We will be back with you in a couple of months. It's not today. That's not for this moment. So it will definitely take a lot of time, much more than I was expecting. But the first or initial contacts we were able to establish convince us that the sheet plants, they really understand what kind of benefit, what kind of chance is given to them with this technology. And you would be surprised how many of sheet plants are really dealing with small or startup brand owners in e-commerce, because of course sheet plants, they are not really partners for guys like Amazon, but there are a lot of other e-commerces that you don't even notice. So I'm quite optimistic about that. It's just going to take a lot of time, much more than I was expecting.
And of course, one of the real advantages and the benefits that DigitPack brings to the sheet plant customers is, I'm assuming your team, you have the full understanding of the workflows and how to handle digital files, because, a traditional sheet plant is not used to working with those kind of files and that kind of data. So was that part of the education process for the sheet plants to say that we understand it, we can help you and hold your hand all the way through?
Yes, this is exactly the way we are processing. I mean, we have artwork managers that when they receive the artwork, they are the first line to consult what can be done, what cannot be done. They are also capable to modify it and adjust the artwork to our Nozomi technology. So that's the first point. But we also have cooperation with artwork designers that can be of help and can suggest to the brand owner how to realize their idea of the artwork and adopt it to the digital technology. So these are two ways we can support our customers in making their artworks and print them in digital, expanding their business portfolio.
Now, I saw, I didn't see, I received from you a fantastic promotional piece that was 9 boxes with individual bottles of beer inside. We're obviously going to show the podcast listeners an image of that in a second. But it was a fantastic campaign, and you obviously sent that to quite a few sheet plant customers. What was the reaction to that? Because it was something very, very different, and it was a fantastic graphical representation of what can be achieved with digital printing.
Yes. First of all, you should expect another one coming for Christmas. So it will be quite similar, but I think one level higher. So that's the first point. The reactions all of them were positive. The best reactions were, how to say that, handled over with a phone call given in a minute or in an hour from receiving the box by the customer, potential customer. So there was always wow on what they saw, and what surprised me was that very few have noticed the variable data being used in that concept. So we had to explain what that numbering is about on the top of each individual beer box. So generally speaking, receiving was very good, very positive, and I think we opened eyes of many people and pushed their attention to digital printing and made them interested and more focused on this part of technology that is coming into the market. So generally speaking, we got what we wanted. So we got the wow effect of every customer who received that.
And obviously you were engaging there typically with the plant owner or the general manager. How does that then transition to their sales team? Because obviously Digipack is totally relying on the sales team of your customers. So what sort of education are you having to do with those customers to try and help them really understand that selling digitally printed packaging is not like selling brown boxes?
Yes, you're touching now the main challenge, in fact, because bringing new technology, you have to find the ownership of this project, let's call it like that. You have to build and convince the customer that it's not, okay, have a look at that, give it to your sales team and ask them to use this new thing in supporting or extending your sales. It doesn't work. Everyone is interested, everyone is fascinated and impressed. But afterwards, when they leave the meeting or when the meeting is over, they say, okay, I have my business to be done first. And in a couple of weeks or months, I will be back to this digital, beautiful new idea of printing corrugated. No, it's not going to work like that. So of course, our first intention is to make impression and impress them in a very positive way, that they really have good opinion on new possibilities that are opening, getting opening by digital printing on corrugated. But what we are doing is we are explaining to customers, potential customers, hey, you must find someone that really takes this serious and that really will focus on that, because without focus, you will have no results and that will be time lost. So that's the main challenge, to find someone who takes the ownership of implementing digital on corrugated into the box business.
Great. Well, Pawel, thank you very much indeed. It's been a fascinating 15 minutes or so catching up with you. It's great to hear that the corrugated industry is sort of holding robust in Poland. That's great to hear. And we wish you all the best with Digipack. And I'm actually really looking forward to eventually, when lockdown is finished and we all can start traveling again, I'm looking forward to coming to see you and we can enjoy some nice glasses of red wine and some beer. So until that time, Pawel, we wish you all the best and thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Dan. It's been a pleasure and honor. And of course, I'm waiting for you here with some wine and spare place in a good restaurant. So thank you. See you soon, hopefully.